Picture this. The year is 2098. It's been 80 years since DayZ 1.0 was released, and developer Bohemia Interactive still has no clue what makes DayZ great. Every new DayZ update is, oh, here's more maps, here's more guns, we improved the way the guns sound, but nothing that actually builds upon what makes DayZ feel like DayZ. Now, to be clear, I do think DayZ is a masterpiece, but it became huge not due to its consistent flow of content updates. It's because at the time it was the gaming equivalent of chat roulette, except everyone had a gun. You just didn't know what danger or what person you'd run into. Now, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I feel that DayZ is currently in a horrible state, held up only by custom community servers and the modding community. DayZ is growing in scale, but not actually evolving, because the developer Bohemia Interactive doesn't get what makes DayZ great. Playing DayZ, everything is trying to end you. Other survivors, animals, the infected, the weather, a nasty fall, a dodgy bit of meat, poisonous zones. That genuine dread and tension is what makes DayZ stand out in a sea of similar games. So if I was Bohemia Interactive, this is what I would do to bring DayZ back from the dead. I have over 1,000 hours in DayZ, and I've worked in gaming both on AAA and indie games. Bohemia Interactive's official motto for DayZ is, this is DayZ, this is your story. Perhaps their motto should be, this is DayZ, let the community fix it. Because Bohemia, I see the new maps, the new guns, the weapons audio update is wonderful work, but could we perhaps fix some gameplay mechanics? Or maybe we could expand upon the mythology and the lore of the world. Now, I'm not asking for a 3-hour cinematic explaining the origin of the infection. Just put a suspicious folder in a bunker, leave a bloody voicemail somewhere, put a scientist's name written on a wall. Instead, Bohemia Interactive is releasing a Nintendo Switch 2 version of the game. What? Because if you're gonna play DayZ, I know what you're getting yourself into. Are you gonna play on the Switch? Okay, my question for the Switch 2 version of the game is, are the cars going to work on it? Because when I play DayZ, the cars are death traps. I can't even imagine playing that over the Wi-Fi over a Switch if you're far away from your router. The game's netcode will kill you before you even know it. Genuinely, obscure bugs can erase hours and hours of progress. And the official servers are just the wild west of cheaters and hackers. They just seem abandoned by Bohemia. I can't believe there's not a way to report players in-game. Why does it feel like DayZ sometimes is a test of endurance, for how much pain you're willing to put up with, before you've even got to a server in some cases? Truly, the survival horror starts when you pull up the in-game server list. Now, the usual response here is, oh, just play on the community servers. But if we're honest, that has its own set of problems. Think of it from a new player's perspective. To get into a custom server, unless you use the broken server list in-game, you have to download a custom launcher to even start locating the server that you want. There's no guarantee you understand any of these terms either. Then you've got to install the pile of mods to get into the game. Then you got to make sure you've got the right version of the game, and then you get into the queue, and then you realize there's a priority queue. You have to pay for the priority queue. You get to the front of the queue, and then the server restarts, and then you got to make sure you got the latest version of the game. You got to make sure you verify the integrity of the game files, and then before you know it, you just started your first shift at Bohemia Interactive's help desk. Congratulations. Now, just a reminder that DayZ released version 1.0 at the end of 2018. How are we still talking about these problems? Because I don't understand the strategy. There are now a total of 3 DayZ official maps, a 4th, I believe, coming later on this year. And in my eyes, none of them compete with the original map Shinaris. So rather than continue to improve on the original map, there's literally copy-paste buildings everywhere. They just keep adding new maps and splitting the player base. Bohemia keeps shipping new content instead of evolving the gameplay that generates DayZ's best stories. And when they do release new features, they bring out new features that modders had created ages ago. I think DayZ needs deeper gameplay survival systems. They need better vehicle gameplay as well. I'd even say they need more ways of meaningful player interaction as well. I'd even expand the storytelling environmentally. I'd add like hidden locations and and mysterious pieces of lore that just make the world feel alive. Compare this to a game like Project Zomboid, which has been in early access since 2011. They don't just add new objects or new areas with each update, they add to what survival can involve. The new lighting makes Project Zomboid scarier than ever, and basements add another dimension of mystery to the world. These new systems interact with existing systems, producing new problems, strategies, and stories. And they kept the community up to date with frequent blog posts as well. Just recently, they released an update that broke controller support, and within a week they had fixed it. No Man's Sky and Cyberpunk were both in the mud at launch, but they both committed to fixing the fundamental gameplay problems, and over time they won the community back on their side. Now, Bohemia doesn't need to turn DayZ into any of these games. DayZ is a completely different beast. It just needs the same desire to make the core gameplay experience the best it possibly can be. Please, I just can't die to car lag anymore. So here are 3 ideas for improvements that I would make to DayZ if I was in charge, and some of these might be a little bit controversial, but I think it's time for DayZ to expand upon its fundamental gameplay. The first idea I have is they need to get the official servers playable. Get the features that players have come to expect. I'd add an in-game map, I'm just saying. I'd get the cheaters bad, I'd add mods. I'd just make it a playable experience, especially for new players. My idea number 2, I'd expand upon the ways that players can interact with each other and the world. I'd focus on improving the player experience, just more ways of having incredible player moments. I'd remove the walkie-talkie frequency system, and I'd just create open chat rooms somehow, some system, similar to like Discord microphone lobbies. It would just make these servers feel way more connected and way more alive. The player experience just feels very shoot on sight a lot of the time. I'd focus on somehow incentivizing players to interact with each other rather than just shoot each other. I'd also make Chernarus the best zombie map ever made. For example, why not make every single building unique on Chernarus? I'd figure out ways also of adding more interaction than ever. Turn on TVs, pick up objects, graffiti on walls. I'd add the ability to track in wildlife. I'd add more permanent human bodies. I'd also improve hand-to-hand combat. All these little subtle tweaks add to the feeling of making this world feel more rich. Idea number 3, I'd overhaul the infected. Now, I know DayZ has a similar ethos in terms of the humans are really the things to be scared of, but I do feel like the infected could be more formidable. For example, I'd add areas just full of hundreds of infected. I'd make them unpredictable in their movement. I'd also add a feature. Say you're in a gunfight with another player and you die from a zombie. You spawn back as a zombie and the opportunity to bite and kill another player as a zombie. I just think it'd add another dimension to gameplay. Imagine biting your friends to death as a zombie. So those are the 3 priorities I would give to Bohemia Interactive to improve DayZ. There are obviously so many more things that could be improved with DayZ. I think base building needs a complete overhaul. The survival systems like hunting and fishing, I think need more depth. I'd expand upon the lore, as I said earlier. I'd maybe even add an end game. And I do believe that new players need a good introduction to the game and its mechanics. Because despite everything I've criticized, I do love DayZ. DayZ creates real stories better than any other game. I just feel like Bohemia needs to embrace that, change their focus, and just make DayZ feel more alive than ever. So I'd love to know what improvements or changes would you make to DayZ? Let me know in the comments. Subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Until then.